I, 28M, never thought I'd be sharing this story, but recent events have left me questioning everything I thought I knew about family and loyalty. It's the story of my younger brother Alexis, 24M, and me, and how our relationship crumbled after years of sacrifice and struggle. Our story begins in a small, run-down house on the outskirts of Cleveland. I was 8 and Alexis was 4 when our dad walked out on us. I remember that day clearly. It was raining, and Dad had just lost his job at the steel mill. He and Mom had been fighting more than usual, their voices echoing through our thin walls. That evening, he packed a bag, kissed Alexis and me on the forehead, and walked out the door. We never saw him again. Mom tried her best to keep it together after Dad left, but it was clear she was struggling. She'd always been prone to bouts of sadness, but after Dad's departure, it was like a switch had been flipped. Some days, she couldn't even get out of bed. I started taking on more responsibilities around the house, making sure Alexis was fed, helping him with his homework, getting him ready for school. As the years went by, things got tougher. Mom's depression worsened, and she started drinking to cope. I'd often come home from school to find her passed out on the couch, empty bottles scattered around her. I'd clean up, make dinner for Alexis and me, and try to keep things as normal as possible. By the time I was 12, I was basically running the household. I started mowing lawns and doing odd jobs around the neighborhood to bring in extra money. We needed it. Mom could barely keep a job, and when she did work, most of her paycheck went to alcohol. Alexis wasn't an easy kid to deal with during this time. He was angry and confused, acting out at school and at home. I lost count of how many times I had to leave my after-school job to pick him up from the principal's office. But I never gave up on him. I remember one night when Alexis was about 10, he broke down crying, asking why Dad left and why Mom was always sick. I held him and promised that I'd always be there for him, no matter what. When I turned 16, I got my first real job at a local grocery store. I worked every hour I could, juggling school and taking care of Alexis. It was exhausting, but I was determined to give him a better life than I had. I'd skip lunch at school to save money, often going hungry so Alexis could have a proper meal. There was one particularly rough period when I was 17. Mom lost her job again and went on a weeks-long bender. We were behind on rent and utilities, and I was worried we'd be evicted. I remember staying up late, poring over bills, trying to figure out how to stretch my meager paycheck to cover everything. Alexis found me crying at the kitchen table one night, overwhelmed by it all. Instead of panicking, he sat with me and helped me sort through the bills. It was the first time I felt like we were truly in this together. When I turned 18, I made the tough decision to move out and take Alexis with me. Mom was in no state to care for him, and I was worried about his safety. It wasn't easy, but I managed to rent a small apartment and became Alexis's legal guardian. I worked 2 jobs while finishing high school online. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but seeing Alexis start to thrive made it all worth it. Over the next few years, things slowly improved. I worked my way up at the grocery store, eventually becoming a manager. Alexis settled into his new school and even joined the basketball team. I'd work extra shifts to pay for his uniforms and equipment, determined to give him as normal a life as possible. When Alexis graduated high school, I was so proud I thought my heart would burst. He was the first in our family to get a diploma, and I felt like all our struggles had been worth it. Alexis decided to go to community college, and I supported him fully, picking up even more hours at work to help pay for his books and tuition. Meanwhile, I started taking night classes in IT. It was tough, balancing work, Alexis's needs, and my own education, but I was determined to build a better future for us. There were nights when I'd be up until 3 a.m. studying, only to have to be at work by 7 a.m., but I pushed through. Fast forward to last year. After years of hard work and certifications, I finally landed a job in IT at a local tech startup. It was a dream come true, better pay, better hours, and a chance to use the skills I'd worked so hard to acquire. Alexis had just finished community college and was working at a local restaurant. Things were looking up for both of us. Then, out of the blue, the startup went under. They had lost their main investor, and suddenly, I was out of a job. I wasn't too worried at first. I had some savings and thought I'd find another job quickly. But weeks turned into months, and my savings started to dwindle. I was doing everything I could, applying to jobs, taking on freelance work, even going back to delivering groceries at night. But it wasn't enough. 3 months ago, I realized I couldn't make rent. I had never felt so defeated. After years of struggle and sacrifice, I was right back where I started. I swallowed my pride and asked Alexis if I could crash on his couch for a few weeks until I found a new job. To my shock, he said no. He claimed his girlfriend, Rosie, 23F, wasn't comfortable with it. I couldn't believe it. After everything I'd done for him, he couldn't even offer me a couch to sleep on. I ended up having to move in with a coworker, Tom, 32M, who I barely knew. It was humiliating and uncomfortable, but I had no choice. I found a new job after about a month and got back on my feet, but I haven't spoken to Alexis since that day. Now, Alexis has been trying to reach out. He's left voicemails, sent texts, even showed up at my new apartment. He says he's sorry, that he made a mistake, that Rosie pressured him into saying no. But I can't bring myself to forgive him. Every time I think about forgiving him, I remember all the nights I went hungry so he could eat, all the hours I worked to put him through school, all the sacrifices I made. And then I remember how easily he turned his back on me when I needed him most. Am I wrong for this? Should I give him another chance? I just can't get over the fact that when I needed him most, he chose his girlfriend over me. Part of me wants to forgive him, he's the only family I have left, after all. But another part of me is so angry and hurt that I can't imagine letting him back into my life. I've spent so long putting Alexis first that I don't even know how to prioritize my own feelings in this situation. I never thought I'd be in this position. I always believed that the bond Alexis and I shared was unbreakable, forged through years of hardship and mutual support. Now, I'm left questioning everything I thought I knew about our relationship. Was it all one-sided? Did Alexis ever truly appreciate everything I did for him? Or was I just a convenience, someone to rely on until he didn't need me anymore? I'm lost and confused, and I don't know what to do. Any advice would be appreciated. Update 1. It's been about a month since my original post, and I wanted to provide an update on my situation with Alexis. First, I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment and offer advice. Your insights really helped me gain some perspective on the situation. After much consideration, I decided to meet with Alexis. We agreed to meet at a neutral location, a small park where we used to play as kids. I arrived early and sat on a bench, my stomach in knots as I waited for Alexis to arrive. When Alexis showed up, he looked terrible. He had dark circles under his eyes and seemed to have lost weight. For a moment, I felt a pang of worry, the big brother instinct kicking in. But then I reminded myself why we were here. Alexis started by apologizing profusely. He admitted that he had made a huge mistake and that he regretted it every day. He explained that Rosie had indeed pressured him into saying no, threatening to break up with him if he let me stay. Alexis said he was scared of losing her and made the wrong choice. As he spoke, memories flooded back. I remembered the day Alexis got his first girlfriend in high school. He had been so nervous, and I had spent hours helping him plan the perfect first date. I had always tried to be there for him, to guide him through life's challenges. It hurt to think that he had chosen a girlfriend of a few months over our lifelong bond. Alexis went on to explain that Rosie had broken up with him a week after he refused to let me stay. Apparently, she had been cheating on him and used the situation as an excuse to end things. Alexis said he realized then how badly he had messed up, but by that point, I was already not speaking to him. As I listened to Alexis, I felt a mix of emotions, anger, pity, and a lingering sense of brotherly love. But I also felt something else, exhaustion. I was tired of always being the strong one, of always having to forgive and understand. I told Alexis that while I appreciated his apology, it didn't change the fact that when I needed him most, he chose someone else over me. I reminded him of all the times I had put him first, even at great personal cost. I told him about the nights I went hungry so he could eat, the job opportunities I turned down to stay close to home and take care of him. Alexis broke down crying, saying he knew he could never make it up to me. He told me how much he missed our relationship, how lost he felt without me in his life. Part of me wanted to comfort him, to tell him everything would be okay like I used to when we were kids. But I held back. Instead, I told Alexis that I needed more time and space to process everything. I said I wasn't ready to forgive him yet, but I wouldn't completely close the door on our relationship. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, watching him walk away with slumped shoulders and tears in his eyes. In the weeks since that meeting, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection. I've started reconnecting with old friends I had neglected while taking care of Alexis. I even went on a date last week, something I hadn't done in years. It felt strange but also liberating to focus on myself for once. Alexis has respected my wishes and given me space. He sends a text once a week, just checking in, but doesn't push for more. Part of me misses our relationship, the easy camaraderie we once had. But another part is enjoying this newfound freedom, the ability to make decisions without considering Alexis's needs first. I've also been thinking a lot about our mom. I haven't spoken to her in years, not since I moved out with Alexis. Part of me wonders if I should reach out, try to mend that relationship too. But then I remember all the pain and struggle, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that. As for the future, I'm still uncertain. I don't know if Alexis and I will ever get back to where we were. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe this is an opportunity for both of us to grow, to establish a healthier relationship built on mutual respect rather than dependency. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm focusing on my new job, on building a life for myself that doesn't revolve around taking care of others. It's scary and exciting all at once. I'm still hurt by what Alexis did, but I'm trying to use this experience as a catalyst for positive change in my life. I don't know what the future holds for Alexis and me, but for the first time in my life, I'm putting myself first. And it feels both terrifying and liberating. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I wanted to share some developments in my situation with Alexis. Over the past few months, Alexis and I have slowly been rebuilding our relationship. We started with occasional text messages, then progressed to phone calls every couple of weeks. Last month, we finally met in person again for dinner at our favorite pizza place from when we were kids. Sitting across from Alexis at that familiar red checkered table, I was struck by how much had changed. We used to come here after his basketball games, me still in my work uniform, scraping together enough change to split a small pizza. Now, we were both adults, ordering our own meals, an awkward silence stretching between us. Alexis broke the ice by sharing some news with me. He's been seeing a counselor to work through his issues, particularly his tendency to let others influence his decisions. He admitted that he had always relied on me to make the tough choices, and when I needed him, he didn't know how to step up. As he spoke, I remembered all the times I had to be the adult in our relationship. Like the time when Alexis was 16 and got caught shoplifting. I had to leave work early to pick him up from the police station, then spend hours negotiating with the store owner to not press charges. I was exhausted and angry, but I never let Alexis see that. I just focused on getting him through it. Alexis also told me that he's been volunteering at a local youth center, mentoring kids from troubled backgrounds. He said it's helped him understand and appreciate everything I did for him growing up. It was a bittersweet moment for me. I was proud of his growth, but it also brought up a lot of painful memories. We talked about our childhood and our mom. Alexis confessed that he had always felt guilty for not doing more to help when we were younger. I explained that it wasn't his responsibility, he was just a kid, and I had chosen to take on that burden. It felt strange to finally have this conversation, to acknowledge the abnormality of our upbringing. As for me, I've been doing well. My new job is going great, and I've even been promoted. I'm seeing someone new, Emily, 26F, and things are getting serious. It's the first time in my life I've been able to focus on my own happiness without worrying about anyone else. Alexis seemed genuinely happy for me, but I could see a flicker of something, perhaps regret or sadness, in his eyes when I talked about Emily. I wondered if he was thinking about Rosie, or if he was realizing just how much of my life he had missed out on. Before we left the restaurant, Alexis hesitantly asked if we could make this a regular thing, meeting for dinner once a month. I agreed, but with the caveat that we take things slow. We're not back to where we were before, and honestly, I don't think we ever will be. But we're building a new kind of relationship, one where we're equals, not caretaker and dependent. As I drove home that night, I felt a mix of emotions. There was still a lingering anger when I thought about what had happened, but it was tempered by a growing understanding. I'm learning to forgive, not for Alexis's sake, but for my own peace of mind. This journey has taught me a lot about the complexities of family relationships, about the fine line between love and obligation. I'm still navigating this new dynamic with Alexis, still learning how to be a brother without being a parent. It's not easy, but I'm hopeful that we're on the right path. Update 3, it's been a year since my original post, and I wanted to give a final update on my situation with Alexis. Our relationship has continued to improve slowly but steadily. We've kept up our monthly dinner dates, gradually becoming more comfortable with each other again. It's not the close bond we once had, but it's a comfortable, adult relationship that works for both of us. Alexis has made significant strides in his personal growth. He's still volunteering at the youth center and has even started taking classes at the local university. He's studying social work, inspired by his experiences mentoring troubled youth. It's strange to see him so focused and driven, but I'm genuinely proud of him. Last week, Alexis invited me to watch him give a speech at a fundraiser for the youth center. As I sat in the audience, listening to him talk passionately about the importance of mentorship and support for at-risk youth, I felt a surge of mixed emotions. Pride, certainly, but also a twinge of sadness for the childhood we never had. As for me, I'm doing better than ever. Emily and I got engaged last month, and we're planning a small wedding for next spring. When I told Alexis about the engagement, he surprised me by asking if he could be my best man. Despite everything we've been through, it felt right to say yes. I've also started my own IT consulting business. It's been challenging but rewarding. In a way, the whole situation with Alexis gave me the push I needed to take risks and prioritize my own goals. Looking back, I realized that cutting ties with Alexis, even temporarily, was necessary for both of us. It allowed me to break free from the caretaker role I had been stuck in for so long, and it forced Alexis to stand on his own 2 feet. Our relationship now is different, but in many ways, it's healthier. We're no longer bound by obligation or guilt, but by a genuine desire to be part of each other's lives. We've both learned valuable lessons about boundaries, forgiveness, and the importance of self-care. There are still moments when the past creeps up on us. Like when Alexis asked about inviting our mom to the wedding, opening up a whole new set of complicated emotions. But we're learning to navigate these challenges together, as equals. To anyone going through a similar situation, I want to say this: it's okay to prioritize yourself. It's okay to step back from toxic relationships, even if they're with family. And it's okay if reconciliation takes time, healing isn't linear, and there's no set timeline for forgiveness. Last week, Alexis and I visited our old neighborhood. We stood outside our childhood home, now occupied by strangers. As we reminisced about the good times and the bad, I realized how far we've both come. We're not the same scared kids we once were, struggling to survive. We're adults who have faced our past, learned from it, and are working to build a better future. I'm not saying everything is perfect. There are still moments when I feel a flash of resentment, or when Alexis gets defensive about the past. But we're learning to communicate better, to express our feelings without falling into old patterns. One thing that's helped is setting clear boundaries. I've made it clear to Alexis that while I value our relationship, I'm not responsible for his happiness or success. He's learned to respect my time and my decisions, understanding that my life doesn't revolve around him anymore. As for our mom, we've decided to reach out to her together. It's a daunting prospect, but facing it as a team feels right. We're not sure what will come of it, but we're prepared to support each other through whatever happens. Looking ahead, I'm cautiously optimistic about the future of my relationship with Alexis. We're planning a camping trip next month, something we used to dream about doing when we were kids but never had the chance. It feels like a new beginning, a chance to create positive memories together as adults. Thank you to everyone who has followed my story and offered support along the way. Your advice and encouragement have been invaluable in this journey. It's been a long, difficult road, but I feel like I've finally found a balance between being a brother and being my own person. And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about what the future holds.